In the eyes of the world, Canada used to stand strong and clearly against practices such as capital punishment. Every year in the United Nations, Canada used to co-sponsor the resolution to treat capital punishment as an offense to the International Declaration of Human Rights. Not anymore. Canada, our Prime Minister and his government, have ignored a Supreme Court of Canada ruling that said Omar Khadr, his rights as a Canadian citizen are being infringed. The government of Canada has an obligation to get that young man out of Guantanamo Bay. He was a child soldier, clearly brainwashed in his family situation. We'll leave that aside. We are obliged, under treaties and declarations we have taken under the United Nations, not to leave any Canadian citizen in a situation in which they are tortured. That's pretty basic, but we have done so. In the eyes of the world, Canada has become another country. We don't know what country it is, really. We're still the same people. The vast majority of Canadians find these stories distressing. The vast majority of Canadians know that we stand for compassion, for human rights, for global leadership on environmental concerns. After all, the steps taken to stop the destruction of our ozone layer were taken in Montreal. Yes, at the time, there were corporate interests that did not want the banning of chlorofluorocarbons. I was in those negotiations. It wasn't as though the whole world rose up and agreed. As a matter of fact, the White House and the Secretary of the Interior at the time said we didn't need a protocol to protect the ozone layer. We just needed sunscreen and broad brim hats. The fact that we are no longer releasing chemicals that destroy the ozone layer is in large part due to Canadian leadership. We look around the world today and we know what the world community thinks of us. It was made crystal clear when we put ourselves forward for a seat on the Security Council. In all the history of the United Nations, we've never put ourselves forward for a seat on the Security Council without knowing we'd win that vote. But this time, we lost to Portugal. And the Prime Minister had the gall to say it was because we stood on principle. We're standing in quicksand, and we in the Green Party are building a new foundation to get out of the mess we're in, to move forward together with positive solutions that will really work. I see Ziggy over there, so I can't help but mention we've got to shut down our nuclear plants. We've got to learn the lessons of Fukushima, and we're the only party that's talking about that. We're the only party. We're the only party addressing the crisis in youth unemployment. We put forward a plan, and as I mentioned, everything in our platform is fully costed and really sensible. We've put $1 billion towards a program of a youth corps, so municipalities can hire young people, ensure they get job training, get a good job, and at the end of that program, a year and getting paid in that job, working at the community level on projects communities need, get a $4,000 check to reduce your student debt. Now, as beautiful and as wonderful as each candidate is, there's only one thing that would make them even more beautiful, and that's when they stand up in the House of Commons. We're going to be in the House of Commons. That's where people belong. They asked me earlier today in Waterloo what was the first thing that I would do as a member of Parliament. And I want to share with you my answer because there's a lot of issues out there. Climate change is desperately dangerous. The situation for our seniors is unfair and worrying. The way our veterans are being treated is a scandal. So what would be my first thing? And it's this: restoring respect and civility to the House of Commons and getting the people together. It's something like what Albert Einstein said about solving problems, that you can't solve them with the same mental approach that got you in the problem in the first place. I'm paraphrasing. But the reality is that if you elect anybody else, they're stuck in a political culture, in a top-down partisan environment, and it's true for all the others. I'm sad to say it, but it's true for all the other federal parties. The people calling the shots are the people you never see. They're the people who don't stand for election. They're the people who script and massage, manipulate through a cynical strategy to tell the voters that this is what their choices are and that anything better than that isn't on offer. It's a kind of a spin doctor sickness that approaches a sort of sociopath pathology. These are people who are so interested in winning elections that they don't know what to do when they've won except try to win the next one. It's people who forget that we are not, in the United States, we don't elect a prime minister, we elect 308 MPs, and the government of Canada is the entire parliament. Reporters keep asking me when I'm going to pack it in and admit I'm not in the leaders' debate. That'll be sometime around the time they actually fit the microphones on the other guys. Because I don't accept for 1 minute that Canadians have to accept a diminished electoral process in which, through arbitrary, capricious decision-making by a handful of media directors, we have such an undemocratic result that it offends the sensibility of 3 former prime ministers, the former head of Elections Canada, numerous leading commentators and academics who all say, in Canada, we just lost full, free, and fair elections, and we should never, ever accept a decision that's wrong. Really happy to see so many young people here. I love the We Will Vote sign. I'm sure you all know that in the last federal election campaign, only 38% of young people eligible to vote actually voted. And overall in Canada, only 59% of the population voted. Think about that instead of being depressed about what that says about our system. Imagine the clout and the power that young people have when you all vote. The largest voting bloc in the 2008 election was the people who stayed home. The only way that you send a message as a voter is not, stay home, nobody thinks anything. Stephen Harper can claim, well, they must like how things are going, they stayed home. I'm convinced that the reason voter turnout is going down is due to deliberate strategies that come from the U.S. Republican Party under the banner of voter suppression. Tell all your friends, if you're disgusted with politics, if you think those politicians are behaving in ways that make you think, I'm not voting, I don't want to encourage them, tell your friends. If you stay home, you make Stephen Harper very happy. They're running campaigns, they're spending tens of millions of dollars on negative advertising. And the only thing that those attack ads do is reduce voter turnout. You've got to spread the word before, well, get as many of your friends to vote in the advance polls as possible. Get out on election day. Make that difference that surprises that cynical, self-satisfied group of pundits in this country who try to tell Canadians the Greens have been sidelined because Canadians don't care about climate change and Canadians don't care about democracy and Canadians will accept whatever drivel the main parties and media are prepared to shovel our way. Well, we won't take it anymore, and that is our message. I know I'm coming to a close in what sounds like the rant of Peter Finch at the end of during the film Network. But here's what I want you to say. Don't say I'm mad as hell and I won't take it anymore. Say I've got hope in my heart and I know we can have a better world. I know we can restore Canada to its proper place in the world. I'm hopeful as all get out and I'm going to vote Green.